Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations Live on Friday night, where tonight I'm giving you a special treat. I'm going to teach you a design that I would normally say for my private group to kind of give you a little teaser, a little trailer of what you can find inside my private group. So tonight we're going to be making the wreath that you see on the door behind me. This is a Patriotic rose wreath created on a unique in the creek 16-inch board, wreath board I guess is what you call it. So I'm going to teach you all the steps that you need in order to do a design like this. And if you like more challenging designs, I would encourage you to join my private group. It's $17 a month and you get 4 design tutorials every month that kind of push your creativity to a whole new level. So if you like this, you can go to my website at KatsCreationsNMore.com. 2 different ways you can sign up. You can sign up on a yearly and you pay for 10 months, you get 2 months free, or you can do a monthly and kind of just see how it goes. And there's so many other benefits you get besides just the unique and challenging designs. Let me do the housekeeping for our Facebook Live. So if you want to be notified when I go live, Facebook has radically changed things. And with some of the resets that they have done, I've even gotten an email that says, please make sure your viewers are aware of the following steps to make sure that they're being notified. Because if you've liked and followed my page in the past and you have turned on notifications, you may have to turn them back on again. Whatever change they just recently did is causing people to not be notified that they're, people that they follow are going live. So just double check. Super simple way of doing that is on this video right now. Tap on your screen. There should be 3 dots in the upper right hand corner. Once you do that, you can check to make sure that your notifications are on. I think it's like the 5th or 6th option down. If it says turn notifications off, then you're cool. You already have it set and it hasn't affected you. If yours says turn live notifications on, make sure you go ahead and toggle that. And then that way you won't miss the favorite people that you're used to seeing. So that's just an FYI. YouTube subscribers. Because if you're catching this video on YouTube, it's a replay from a Facebook Live from Friday, March 12th, right? I think, 2021. So for you guys to be notified, you want to click the subscribe bell in the upper right-hand corner. That lets you notify you whenever we upload a new video. If you like this design, and I'm sure you will, and you want to replicate it once you get all your materials in, go ahead and click the share button. This allows you to find that tutorial easier on your page than trying to dig through all my posts and videos and everything else. If you're new and joining us for the first time, let us know. We'd like to welcome you. And actually, if you guys can just let us know where you're coming from right now, just do a quick check-in. Hi, I'm joining you from Victorville, California, which is where we're at. We'd love to hear from you, and you never know, you might make a connection with someone who lives in your neighboring city. So that, I think, is it. And I've covered all my to-do list, and I forgot my tablet. So I'm just going to rely on Steve to do this.
I can go get it.
Okay.
Valerie made a really nice comment. Hi, Kat. Your group is so worth it. You're a business person and a talented entrepreneur.
Thank you.
And hi, everyone, for joining. There's way too many to say. So welcome, and thanks for sharing your Friday with us.
Awesome. So what you're going to want to do is, I used to be able to get these on Amazon. I just checked before we went live because you used to be able to buy them in bundles of 5. The large boards are currently no longer available on Amazon. I don't know if that's going to change later on down the line. So you kind of have to do your homework and find some other places to secure these. Michael's used to have them, but Michael's is no longer carrying them either. I know you can probably get them through Deco Exchange, Trendy Tree. I don't know if Craft Outlet or the Wreath Shop sells them, but those are just some options you have. They are a 15.5-inch board, so they have a small one and a large one. You need a large one to complete this design. The finished product is going to be 20 inches in diameter and 4.5 inches high. So I thought it was thicker, like taller, but then when we measured it, it's only 4.5 inches. And then you're going to want to go ahead and put all of your zip ties in. I use 6-inch zip ties. They're a 40-pound test. So if you want to order those on Amazon, you can do that. I think I order mine like in 1,000 quantity increments. And you want to make sure that yours are the 40-pound test ones. If they're not, when you go to slide your zip ties through, the heads of the zip ties will go all the way through to the other side, so that when you wire it this way, they kind of stay on the top part of the board. So what you want to do is you want to do the 4 in the middle, then there's going to be 8 more to the outside, another 8, another 16, and then we are doing, there's going to be, I think, 8 to the outside, and we're going to finish that, and that's what creates this little loop on the outside. First thing we're going to do, however, is we're going to put our hanger on it, and I like using this corded, it's like 1/6 of an inch. I bought this at Joann's at the end of Christmas. It's just a braided cord, so we're going to go ahead and put our hanger on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 simple knots in here, just like so, to make sure it cannot be pulled from this front part. And then this way it helps keep everything really nice looking on the back side. That's all done.
Kay, she said, I bought 5 from Unique in the Creek, but all are small. Shoot, does that mean I can't do this wreath with the small? It's better to do it with the big one.
It's better to do it with the big one. So like the method I'm showing you tonight is with the big one. I don't know if I have a small one, and I was tempted to get the small ones. But I'm sure you could. I just don't know how to wire that one yet. So I'm sure it's possible. Okay.
Yeah, Lee said, I had a hard time finding it today. Finally got one from Unique in the Creek directly, which is good.
Yes. That's what I was going to think too, but I'm like, they're in Canada. I don't know how long it'll take. I want them quick. So, all right. So as you can see, I double knotted this. I put it on the same side that we're going to be building our entire rows on. The reason being is on the back side, it's going to keep everything really clean. The only thing you're going to see is the little lumps from all the zip ties. And having it all pre-wired makes it so much easier to go ahead and assemble everything. So now I'm going to show you some tools to have handy as you're building it. So you're going to need clothespins, or you can do the clips. Chip clips are a little odd because you need them to be longer, so that like if you're trying to hold certain parts of your deco mesh together until you get your swirl going the right way, you need something that can go down a little bit farther, not so much like across the top. So something with depth. And I know that there's like plastic, they're kind of like a chip clip clothespin, but they're a little deeper, so you can go in and grab way down to where it's being attached to the board, just to hold it until you get everything into place, and then you can go ahead and secure it, and you'll see it just kind of flows better. So zip ties, clothespins, you'll need 2 rubber bands, and you'll see, because when you get to the center, you're going to want to rubber band your center, and then when we do the 8 that go around that center, we want to keep that really tight until we build the rest of the frame. And then you're going to leave this on there anyway. You don't have to worry about trying to take it off later. Just leave it on, and it'll keep that nice spiral shape intact. What's that?
Kara said, accumulate. What are these? Can you get them on Amazon? I believe you can, but
no, you cannot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember I told you, I'm like, what's up, Amazon? Yeah, I was getting all of my stuff on Amazon's, and now they're just carrying all the butterfly boards now and the cross boards. So they have stopped selling the 16-inch boards. So I got mine from Trendy Tree tonight. I ordered another 8, and I think Trendy Trees are like $5.75 a board, so that's a really good price. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is build all the petals. You will need a grand total of 42. So let's just say you wanted to do just a solid rose. You're going to do the same thing. You'll need 42 pieces. And when I've done the rose wreaths in the past, if you don't have really nice, good quality, thick deco mesh, you almost need to double up on each piece. So I found a shortcut way to do that. So I'm going to teach you that, and that's how we're going to build this rose wreath. So all the pieces, it's 10-inch deco mesh cut to 20-inch pieces. And all you're going to do is fold them over so that, in a sense, you're doubling up. But by folding them, you're assuring that the one side isn't going to like kind of come apart. This way we only have to deal with the ones at the bottom. So I use a chip clip just on one side to help me keep the pieces so that it's actually corner to corner, you know, and they're intact. And then you're going to take this corner and you're going to match it to this corner. So you're just going to drag it over to the corner so it's like a nice little triangle. And then you're going to, about 2 inches, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, you're going to pinch that. And then we're going to get a zip tie. And you're going to zip tie those closed. And this just allows you to pre-assemble all of your pieces. When I've done the rose wreaths in the past, I usually don't do this step. But this just makes it for simple construction. So that you have like, remember when we did the peppermint candy, where we did them like this? You're basically making the same shape. But you don't want to go too high up. You know, remember, the higher up we go, the more of a curl you get. You don't want to go very high. You want to make them look like little parachutes, okay? So they're literally, this one's like 2 inches. You can even go a little bit shorter than that, but you're going to assemble all of your pieces. I think, and don't quote me because I didn't count when I made the first one, so I'm going to have to count when we do the second one, but I counted all the zip ties. They're supposed to be 42. I'm thinking it's supposed to be 16 blue, 16 red, and 12 white. Again, don't quote me. We'll figure it out when we do it here.
So Debbie Sampson said, I got some on Amazon, so you should recheck. Because when they restock, you can buy them, but then when they're out, they pull the item, I guess. So
yeah, when I clicked on it, it says currently unavailable. So it won't let me order. It won't even let me click on the item to physically see it.
Yeah, Kathy Sackler said the same thing. When they're out of stock, Amazon will pull the item down until they have more in stock.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see.
Martha asked, can fabric mesh be used? It can, you just won't get any shine out of it.
Yeah, definitely. You can probably try the design. For Patriotic, I want the sparkle, so that's why we're doing the metallic deco mesh. If you do it fabric mesh, you're not going to get sparkle.
You can make it like an Americana where it's darker colors, but it's
yeah,
not.
You could. Okay, so I'm going to finish these 3 pieces up just to show you the petal technique again for the rose.
I'll zoom in.
So we're folding over a piece of 20-inch deco mesh cut. And I'm pretty precise on making sure that everything matches. So like the corner piece matches, then I can go over to the other side and make sure I've got end to end. And then we're going to go corner all the way over to the corner. And then, again, here's my 2-inch piece. I'm going to take this and zip tie this together. Oops.
Carly had 16-inch board, round board.
It's actually 15.5, but they call it 16-inch board. So there's our other petal, and then we'll do one final one because this is the last 3 that I need to complete, and I've already made all the other petals in red, white, and blue. So again, 20-inch piece of deco mesh, fold it in half, line it up. Use a chip clip just to hold it so it doesn't get all wonky out of shape, because you know our deco mesh can do that. And then match these. If you can get them to be a really good match, it just makes all your petals look uniform. And here's our last piece.
So to recap, I think you said was it 12 pieces blue, 12 pieces red?
16 blue,
16 blue, 16 red, and 12 white.
Yeah.
And
this one.
They're all cut to 20-inch.
Folded in half.
Folded in half. And yes, on these you can use the wood burning tool. Fold it in half.
You have to use a wood burning tool. You don't have to, but let's just say you will be happier with the results when you cut your deco mesh, this particular type of deco mesh, with a wood burning tool than with just rotary cutter. Because I think you want it to be no frays, you want it to look fairly clean. And then we'll snip these off and we're ready to assemble. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on the outside 6 first. We're gonna put the border around it first because it's a little hard to put the border in after you get to the edge. And you'll kind of see the whole technique. So I am giving credit to, I think it's called Sparkles in the ATL or Atlanta. I watched her tutorial on how she did it. I liked how she created the outside border, and I've basically just taken a little bit of what she did and kind of made it my own. But, okay, so what you're gonna wanna do, here's the tip, is when you start your outside border, you're gonna start with your tails on the inside. Okay, we're gonna start with the blue. And then I know I'm gonna go blue to the other side, but I'm not gonna put this one in yet. And then on this side, it's gonna be red. So I'm gonna take my red, because this is where that's gonna go. And I'm going to take the corner, right, where I've made these little ends, and I'm going to slide this in with this, along with this piece under here, so that I've, in a sense, grab the corners from each adjoining piece plus the center of the one that I'm doing, and I'm going to tighten it all together. What this does is, I'm sure you guys have noticed when you're creating a rose wreath, the outside petals, the little tips, they have a tendency just to kind of like fall out. So by doing it this way, you guarantee that you're holding the adjoining pieces together with the piece that you've kind of put in the center. So we're going to be doing this all the way around. So if you missed that and you're like, wait, what did she just do? Okay, so we're going to take our piece that normally goes in the center. We're going to put that in there. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to take the piece from the blue here that we just put in. I'm going to add that corner in addition to here. And then we're going to add our other blue. So all I want is the corner to go in here. And
Kathy, yeah, you can't use the wood burning tool on the mat. You have to cut it on a glass tempered cutting board, and you can get those from Walmart. They're cheap. We got, I think it's 12 by 17, and it was only around
$6.
10, yeah, $8 to $10, yeah.
So, see what I'm saying is you're securing each one to the next spot. So like on this one, we're going to add this one in here. Got to get it past the zip tie. We're taking the one before. We're taking the corner. We're tucking the corner in with this one. And I got to get the piece that goes to the next one, because all I want is the corner. And I'm adding that into this hole. And then I'm going to tighten that down as tight as I possibly can get. So in a sense, what's happening is these are all going to start to create the outside.
Yes, and Kat did find some of these that they used to sell them at the Dollar Tree. So if you can find them at the Dollar Tree,
what?
Get them. Those.
No, I never found them. Somebody else in the private group found them.
Yeah, and Nancy Rain said, hello, they have those boards at the dollar store. I didn't know what they were. I should have bought some. If they still have them, go back and get them.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to go, see this goes red, white, red, white. So I'm going to grab one of my whites. And I need the corner. I'm going to put my corner in. And you only really need to put in about, trying to think, but maybe an inch, inch and a half. Trying to get my zip tie to go back up on the top.
Kat got the wreath form from Trendy Tree. There's some women on here that say they found it on Amazon. One woman said there was 5 for $34.50.
Double check that they are not 12-inch, that they are the 16-inch boards.
Yeah.
So I know Amazon sells the 12-inch. Those are the small. Those won't work. So I'm going back under with this one.
And everything that's inside the holes, gals, you can see they're just zip ties.
Yep. So I'm trying to get this one back up on top. Gonna hold this one and grab my red. So all I need is my corner. Just need to get it in. Okay.
Yeah, Jean said I've never seen any of those boards like those at Dollar Tree. Because the whole patterns might be different.
It's got my shirt. Okay. Back to the other side. So we put it in
Carrot
here.
quite back, yeah. 16-inch boards for the $34.25 at Amazon.
Okay, someone seriously needs to tell me that it's too late now. I already ordered the other ones because I just looked and I'm like, I typed in 16-inch Unique in the Creek boards. It's like currently unavailable. Not sure when we'll have these back. I was like, are you kidding me? Okay. So back in. I would try to get the pipe cleaner past the twist tie so that the twist tie will keep everything from pulling out. And then move this up, put this one in, tuck our red in. So before, when I was doing the rose wreaths, I would take these and if I had the stubborn pieces who didn't want to stay on the inside, I would just take a floral stapler and just staple them in. And this way just works so much better because you're building your outside base, but you're also securing all those stubborn little ends that just don't want to stay. Okay, so this one's going to go in here. And we're going to tuck the white and the blue.
Jean, don't worry about it. You know, when the video is done, it'll get reposted back on Facebook, and you can just go back and watch the beginning on how she made the petals. It's pretty easy. It's not that difficult.
It's super simple. Trying to get my zip tie back to the top. I have a tendency on the outside to just go up underneath. Okay, so that's what we have created is the border to our floral design. So you're going to add 4 blue, and then you're going to alternate red, white, blue, or red, white, so that you get that field of blue on one side, and then it's going to mix on the other side. Okay, so now we are going to do the inside. So I have all my pieces on the table. So the inside 4 are all going to be red. So all of these are just red right into the center.
Gotcha. Kara said, yes, you're right. I ordered the ones without the inside holes.
Oh, you ordered the character boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just go directly to Unique in the Creek, or like Kat said, you can go to Trendy Tree.
Trendy Tree has them for $5.75 each, I think.
And Kathleen, she always tries to dress to match what she's doing.
We try. I don't think we noticed it at first, and then everyone's like, you do that. And so now we make it a point of going out of our way to do that. So what you're doing is, as you're layering them, if you notice, I'm kind of taking them and creating like a little pattern so that they're kind of laying one on top of the other. So that when I go to swirl them, they're kind of already laid out to do that. And this is my last one.
I think a good tip is you said the gals are, it's good to have like a couple rubber bands handy too, right?
I already have that. Yeah, I already said that. Okay, so there's my 4 on the inside. So now what I'm going to do, once I find out how these are all laying, want to get them all laying the same way. Okay, let me get this one on the inside. Okay, there we go. So
and she's not using a thick foil either, it's just a regular foil.
Yeah, this is just probably the $3.95 Deco Mesh. So you're going to start with one piece. You're going to start, I know it's kind of hard to see, you're going to take your end and hold that down, and you're just going to pull your piece all the way around the outside. You want a pretty tight spiral on the first piece. Hence, this is where your clothespins are going to come in handy. So as I start that one, then I'm going to take the next one, and it's going to get wrapped around. Okay, we're going to take this one. I'm just holding the center and just wrapping everything super, super tight. You have to get it pretty tight, because what you'll notice is that your next row, if you do not do it tight enough, you will not have enough space to put your next ones in there. So we've got to keep it inside that little space. Okay, I'm going to rework my center. And then what I'm going to do right now is, this is where your clothespins are going to come in handy. So you're going to clothespin your sections.
Standy, you could, yeah, she says she staples her ends.
Yeah.
You could.
I tried that one, and then I liked how she did this particular method for making the outside. So I was like, okay, that's what we're going to do.
Jean said, I need to win the lottery so I can fly over and get one-on-one training from Kat.
No, you don't. Okay. So what I'm going to do for this one is I look for the really, like, Dollar Tree, right? And get a whole bag of assorted rubber bands. So I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to hold the bottom, because you want it at the bottom. You don't want it at the top. So that, watch, when I let go of this, I have a really good swirl pattern in the center. And I'm going to let me just do these until I get my next ones done. Oop, came off. I like it to have a pretty tight swirl to the center, so I'm pretty picky about that. But that's just my own thing. Okay. Let's pull these up, just like so. So that's what it looks like.
Yep.
Okay. So now you can see how close the other 8 are. So we've got to be able to have space, which is why you really need to bring your 4 in really, really tight. And so the next row, we'll call that row 2. This is first, second, third, fourth. This is fifth. So row 2 is red, white, all the way around. So you're going to need 4 red and 4 white.
Valerie, believe it or not, it's just 1 roll of each color. So 1 roll of red, 1 roll of white, and 1 roll of blue.
Mm-hmm. And then you're going to start, again, just get your pipe cleaner down, or not pipe cleaner, zip tie in. And you're going to go right past the zip tie, and you're going to start alternating your colors. So red or white, then red, then white, so having that zip tie already on there just kind of gives you a guideline to shoot for. It also prevents your deco mesh from pulling out as it's secured in there twice. Okay, we're going to go red.
Dan, the best deco mesh, in Kat's opinion, to get or use is probably from Craft Outlet.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend using something like Hobby Lobby or Joann's, Michael's mesh for this. I would, spend the money and get the Craft Outlet, and it's really not any more expensive. It's actually probably cheaper to go online than it is to get it at Michael's.
Then poly burlap probably would not be good for this.
You're going to get a lot of frays with it. Okay. So as you kind of see, we're creating a swirl pattern, and we want to keep that swirl pattern consistent.
Cheryl, so you don't tuck the ends to each other on the second row?
No. Watch. Nope, you don't do it on that one. That would be like really super hard to do, because the space that you have to work with is really tight. Okay, back to white. I really need to pull my sleeves of my sweater up because the edges, yeah, they're getting stuck. Last piece of red. Okay. Watch. Watch and see. And last piece of red. Yeah, I know, well. Okay. So the goal is to get those in as snug as possible. And so now we are going to build our swirls again. So we're going to go around what we already have right here. And if you need to, for holding, just use a clothespin. Okay, then you're going to take the next one, grab the bottom.
Sandy, yeah, the heavy foil mesh would also look amazing for this.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just adding to the pile.
Kathy, how much would you list this for?
I'm listing them for $80, and you'll understand why at the very end, because it is a process to get it to look as well as it is. Even though the materials cost is not that much, there's a learning curve to making sure you're doing these right. Okay, so I'm just bringing this up, clipping. Okay, doing the same thing here. I'm just going to start clipping here so I can bring these ones up. like you almost wish you had longer fingers. This is where the clothespins come in handy. So I always want to make sure that you're getting it in past that next level that you'll need to be past. I'll start here. This way I can grab this last piece and make sure it's
So do yourself a favor and go buy some
clothespins.
Clothespins.
You can go to the Dollar Tree and get like 50 of them for like $1. So worth it. Okay. So once you get them all in that next area, this is where rubber band number 2 comes into play. Let me grab the ones that I need here.
Yes, Debbie, the materialist will be on the private group.
I'm looking for the right one. It has to be. So what all this is doing is just to contain those little ends at the bottom, those little tips, so that we're past this point. Oops. Okay, now watch. When I take these off, I'm still gonna keep it on my center one. I want it to just like learn the habit of doing it. So here again, you have to make sure this is tight enough so that when we come in and do row 3, you have enough space. So all the rubber band is doing is holding all those edges we just spiraled all the way around together, okay? You need a tight center. You won't be doing that for row 3 and row 4, but we'll still be using the clothespins just to kind of help hold everything together. Now this is the row that you're going to introduce the blue to. So you're going to need 4 blue, 2 red, and 2 white. And then where we have our hanger, this is where the blue begins. So we want our blue to kind of line up where the blue already is. So it kind of starts right about here. So I'm going to start my blue here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I'll start it here. Yeah, we'll start it here. 1, 2, 3. No, go up 1. It's a judgment call of where you want to start your blue. You're either going to start a little bit higher or a little bit lower. Same theory, you're just going to go and attach all your pieces.
And you'll have to go check that out. She said I started shopping from Keuther Crafts. Keuther. They have a lot of the. She said they have a lot of the similar materials craft outlet.
Oh, nice.
And she gets her materials in 3 days.
That's great.
Yeah.
We're always looking for fast shipping.
Lori asked, good question. Do you leave the rubber band on or remove them at the end?
I leave them on. I don't take them off. Some people tie it with string. I just add the rubber band. It's just so much easier than, wasting your time trying to get a good tie in. And then you have a piece that falls down. I'm like, oh Lord, rubber band. But I look for ones that have a lot of play in them. So they're not super tight, but just enough to kind of hold everything together. So now we're adding our blues.
Irvina said this one's freaking me out for some reason.
It's freaking you out.
It'll just be a trial and error. Like the first one, you'll have to figure it out.
You know what's funny is when I did my first rose wreath, it came out amazing. The very first one. And then every one after that, I was like, oh my God, I can't get this. I can't get the pattern right anymore. I can't get it to lay right. So now we are going to kind of match this pattern. So we're going to go white next here. So we're just kind of falling in line with what's happening on the outside. Really make sure your zip ties are in there good. Now we'll do red. I swear this went so much easier than the other one. The other one took me like 2 hours to assemble because I was learning how to do it again because it's been so long. Okay, then white. Lori, where are you from? You said you're a newbie and came across our channel. Last one, this is row 4. So putting this one in. Okay. Now you have to make sure that all your ends are tucked in. So I've kind of been doing that as I've been working around. So we're just tucking the ends down.
Laura says she's from Ocala, Florida.
Oh, nice. So now I'm taking my clothespins just so I can move the pieces up and tuck them in so I can work that out the last row, which is right smack in the middle. So that's all I'm doing. You don't want to pull too tight because you need these ones to be a little bit looser. This just allows you to get in there with your hands and put your petals where they need to wind up.
Yeah, Carla said I bought a zip tie gun at Harbor Freight for $7. I know you have one.
I have one. I haven't used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, on here I don't know if I would use a zip tie gun because I can just get in there with my hands and zip tie it as tight as I need to get it. Okay.
John said, hi, I'm from Southwestern Pennsylvania. I'm a fairly new member to your group, but I've watched a lot of your videos. Thank you for watching.
Oh, thank you for watching. So now what I'm going to do is there's a couple tails that are just like the little ends right here. I'll show you. Like right here, I've got some pieces that are just a little stubborn. They need to be helped in place. So this is why I have my glue gun out. I am going to, they just kind of tuck underneath. Like you just kind of push them to the center, but I want them tucked in, but not tight. If you do it too tight, then when you get to this level, these ones will want to fall and then you'll have a separation and you don't want that. So I'm going to get this up and over. Move my clothespin.
Yeah, she's using 6-inch white zip ties.
So just where I have a couple stubborn pieces that just won't stay under, I'm just kind of tagging that with a little bit of glue.
So she's taking row 4 and basically gluing the ends down inside the row.
Because all I've done, it's so hard to see, I just tuck them underneath. So they just go to the center. So sometimes they like to come out on their own. Sorry. So I just kind of help them stay in place. And that's why, because we have all of our clothespins on there. It'll allow it to set up while we work the last row. there we go. All right, the last row. The last one. Let me find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We should, if I do my math right, we have 8 blue, 4 white, and 4 red. See? None left. Okay. Again, you kind of have to figure out where you want your blue to begin. So this is kind of like how our blue fades out. So you want to find your end point for your blue so that it matches the outside. So I'm going to try right here. And I'm going into the last row. This is the one where you have 16 zip ties. So I'm just kind of like measuring this up here. And I like the way that it's flowing. So let's look. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, that works. Okay. So now I'm going to go backwards from my blue. So I'm going to start with my white. So I'm just following the same pattern that I've done all the way around. Like the red goes to the blue. As it finishes, it's white. We still need to make sure they lay properly. Now we're doing red. And we're back to white. The nice thing is those little tails fill in the color of your board. So you don't see that gray. You just see whatever color had laid down right before that. Red. Okay, back to white. Trying to make sure that the ends don't grab all the other pieces. It's just so much easier to assemble it when you have everything already built. And we're back to red. Just small space, very small space. And back to white. That one went to the floor. Red, and then it's all blue. Okay, blue. So see how all the petals are basically we're building upon so that it creates that, I guess you'd call it a seashell look, where it swirls.
Layered.
Well, it swirls. Yeah, you want it to swirl. If you don't want it to swirl, you don't have to have it swirl. There's some people who don't like it to swirl. And I think while I'm waiting, I want to glue my little spiral so that it stays in there. Because I did it on the one behind me, and I was like, ooh, I like it just to stay. Tight swirl.
Janice, I wish I had the items. Would be a great project since we're getting 20 to 30 inches of snow tomorrow on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
She's up in Fort Collins, Colorado.
That's crazy.
Yep. They said we're expecting tons of snow too in Monument.
Okay, so see how each layer is just filling in that space? So each piece that I add is just the ends are filling in the gap. And remember, I have these pieces pulled up and away from these so that I can lay this last layer in. I think that's key. Like before we went live, I was doing it with chip clips and it was driving me crazy. I just could not get it tight enough. I couldn't get them out of the way because they were more flat and these are more deep. Okay, a couple more pieces and we should be done.
Kathy, why would you not use Hobby Lobby mesh for this?
It's too thin.
It's just too thin. Yeah.
It's way too thin. It just does not have it needs some structure, and from my experience with Hobby Lobby mesh, it just doesn't have enough life to it. It just is wimpy. So it wants to fall. It won't, like the little tips won't stand. They'll just be like wishy-washy.
Unless you can get the high foil or the premium.
It's going to be hard to find it in a dark blue.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 more.
Yeah, we're actually in Victorville, California, and we got a little bit of snow last night, but not enough to cover anything, but we got a little bit.
It's not enough to write home about. My brother said, he's like, it snowed this morning. I was like, it did? Yeah. He's like, yeah, but it melted.
Yeah, Debbie, I mean, we haven't really gotten any rain, but it's been cloudy. It's been raining all around us.
So the nice thing about having those all pre-assembled with the zip ties on them, and I know it's like using twice as many zip ties, it just helps hold those in place. Because there's been a couple times that the zip tie that was holding the piece has come loose, but the fact that I have it zip tied into the frame, it's not going anywhere. So here's our last piece. Okay. Let's lay this one in. And this is where you're going to have to finesse your edges. So like we have all these edges here. I'm going to make sure you get them down to the bottom so they're nice and pretty. And I'm going to let go of these pieces here. And then we're going to push these down so that they can all like settle in place. Okay. Any of the pieces that are trying to come up, those little ends, you just kind of have to push them back down. But now I can pull this out and you can kind of see the way that this one is geared to go. Yeah. So you have an option you don't have to add the stars. You can just leave it this way. It would be a totally gorgeous wreath on its own. Take all those off. Now the stars that I have, move these back over here, go back in the bag. Here's my stars. I bought these at Hobby Lobby. They're just little foam glitter stars, and they're in a bunch of different shapes. I think the largest one is 2 inches. The medium is like 1.5 inches, and the small is 1 inch. And then you can just, this is what I did. I took them and I just kind of randomly placed them to kind of get a good layout for where did I want these to fall.
Sandy, yeah, she said what's really good about this design and the unique and Greek boards is they'll fit between the storm door.
Well, this is 4.5 inches from here to here, so it would just depend on the depth of your storm door. Okay.
It fit between the door and the screen, yeah.
Let's get some little ones in here. So here's the best thing about these ones that I loved is they're adhesive, so you can just stick them. So like for me, I was like, they keep falling off. They keep falling in the center. So I just pulled the little adhesive parts off just for me to get an idea of placement, because then I'm going to come back and glue them in place. But at least this allows me to see where they're all going to wind up. And then they won't fall. So watch. This is what I did. I took my pictures and then I came back and glued them all in.
Arena asked how many stars do you put on? So for the back,
That
it's
one
about
has 14.
14,
Yeah. So it's just up to you. Whatever you like. You can go as, you can go 10. It just depends on, what you like, your preference. I think I have 14 out.
She said, got to run. Great job, Kat.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, she said she's also made one of these before. She sold it on eBay and it sold really well.
Okay. I have a big one, so let's go big to the bottom.
Caitlin's on. She said, this is probably one of my favorite wreaths. This is insane.
Is it? You're funny. Okay, let's do a little one up here. And we'll put another medium one here. So far I have 12. I have 12 on here, so I'll show you what it looks like. Because now I can just pick these up because the stars will stay where they are until I glue them back on to their spots. So what do you guys think? It looks pretty.
Yeah. And each one's going to be a little bit different from each other.
Yeah, because the star placement, like you said, you can add, you can come down with one more. Let's put this one a little lower. Just like that. Mm-hmm. But there you guys go. That's it. Short and sweet. So all I would do with the stars is I just come back because they're just still adhesive. I gotta pry my glue gun again. Get it started. Oops. And you're just going to tag them in place.
Yep. So the message from Craft Outlet and the frame is a unique in the Creek board for 16-inch.
Yeah, it's not the character board because you need it to not be empty in the center.
Jean said positively beautiful. Thanks, Jean. Sharon said beautiful. Thanks for spending Friday night with us. Thank you for sharing your Friday night with us.
Yes, thank you for sharing Friday night with us.
Sue said, I've only been making wreaths for a little over a year. You're such an inspiration.
Aw, thanks.
She loves it.
And last one, glued on. You can see they stick on pretty well with their little adhesive part, but voila. Just like the one on the door, just slightly different star pattern. So
Stars are from Hobby Lobby.
yeah, they come in a pack that looks.
They're just foam stars, different colors, and they have blue and gold and yellow, red.
They're half off. So see, these are the stars. They're called Patriotic Creations. So they give you 130 different star shapes. So red, white, blue, gold, silver, and white, or gold, silver, red, white, and blue.
Yep.
Yeah, so then you just take them, you stick them, and voila! They have felt ones, but I was like, if you did this with the foam stars, then it's going to last really well outside, you know, weather-wise on the front porch. Yep. So there you guys have it. Short, simple, short and sweet.
More designs like this, you can definitely follow her on her private group and join her private group.
Yeah, come join the private group. We make stuff like this all the time. We do the centerpieces. We do the ribbon topiaries behind me. So come join us. It's super fun. And I will see the public group on Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern. Private group, I will see you Sunday at 3 Pacific, 5 Central, 7, right? No, 3, 5, and 6. And we're working on the curl and weave method. So 21-inch mesh, method number 3. Okay, everyone, have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.